You guys remember Steven Anderson, this guy here?
Now, look, if you want to bring home to church, we're going to have a problem. But, people come up to me and want to argue with me all the time and say, well, I believe can be saved. And I always tell them the same thing. Go out and get as many saved as you want.
Yeah, this guy, Steven Anderson, is on the twit now, and he's making a colossal ass of himself. You know that girl that's been auditing churches, like going around and asking, like, calling them and asking for formula to see if they are going to provide it? Well, Steven Anderson is not very happy about that and says, I would be pissed if I donated it to a church and found out that they were giving the Lord's money to single mother whores. I would want it to go to the Lord's work or toward helping godly Christians who are in need. Churches should not be funding fornicators in their backyards. Oh my God. And I forget what her results were. 100% of mosques helped. 100% of Buddhist temples helped. I don't remember what the church was. 7 out of 22 maybe or something, which ironically is pi roughly. I think that's like the fraction to roughly calculate pi if you don't have a calculator on hand. Anyway, it's this. This is the inspiration.
So right now I'm about to test your church to see if your church is willing to help somebody in need to make sure that their baby is fed.
You know what that tells me that Steven Anderson's responding to this? It tells me his church was audited and failed miserably. I bet that's what happened, right?
Now, right now, I'm calling the First Christian Church of Somerset, Kentucky to see if they are willing to help somebody in need. And you all get to listen to their response. Now, I've only done this one other time, and they would not help somebody in need, not even to feed their baby. So, here we go.
Again, mosques will. Mosques had no problem helping. Interesting, huh?
I will add that this one did not say if they were open or not.
First Christian Church, this is Jessica.
Hi, yes. I'm trying to find somebody that could help me. I have a 2-month-old baby and I ran out of formula, and I was wanting to see if y'all could help with donations of any kind of like formula at all.
I'm so sorry. We don't have any donations set up for it.
Like, if it had been me, if somebody asked if I could provide formula, I'm a fucking church. I would take it out of my own pocket if that's what it had to be. Okay, you get donations from people for what exactly? Why are you a nonprofit organization? Do you know why the government doesn't charge taxes to churches? They don't charge taxes because they're supposed to provide a public good, a public benefit. You're supposed to be able to get nonprofit status if you provide some public good. What public good do churches provide? Nothing. They provide nothing. They're absolutely, completely, and totally f***ing worthless to pretty much everybody except to give people false hope. And here we have an example of somebody who's going around trying to test churches to see if they will actually provide some public good. If they'll do the smallest, most basic thing. Do you know how much formula costs? It costs $20 per can, which lasts about 2-3 days for me, about 15 years ago when Alpha Force Zero was a baby. What does it cost now? Oh, $20. Well, maybe I'm incorrect. Maybe it was cheaper back then. I don't know. But $20, give or take, for generic formula. For a generic can lasts 2 or 3 days. You can't pry $20 out of the church coffers to pay for a literal starving child who is completely innocent, didn't do shit to anybody, doesn't deserve to be mistreated, like Steven Anderson says here. I would be pissed if I donated to a church and found out that they were giving the Lord's money to single mother whores. I would want it to go to the Lord's work or toward helping godly Christians who are in need. Churches should not be funding fornicators or their bastards. Their bastards are innocent children. They are innocent children. This guy's moral compass is so whacked out, dude, to say some shit like that. You can say the fornicators committed a sin. That does not mean they deserve to die. But the child doesn't deserve that at all, in any way, shape, or form. There isn't even a twisted Christian doctrine that could be interpreted that way. The child does not deserve that. Imagine seeing a child and thinking he's the bastard of a fornicator and should die. Think where your head has to be to view reality that way. It gets even worse. Let's see if we can find the post from Steven Anderson. Hold on. Here you go. It's got 282 quotes or retweets, 375 likes. See, the whole thing about Jesus is he specifically helped those who were not worthy of his help. That's what made him special. He believed each of us was special, despite our flaws and mistakes. Those kids could use food and maybe a role model too. Good post, Father Edgelord. Please show me in the Bible where Jesus gave money to whores. We love them and want them to be saved, but giving them the church's money is wrong and unbiblical, he says. What a colossal piece of shit, dude. Really. His moral compass is shot to shit. It is shot to shit. This is why atheists despise foolish religious hypocrites. It's embarrassing that you say that on a public forum. It's even more embarrassing that you're some sort of church leader. Such a gross excuse for a man. It saddens me that unfortunately so many vulnerable people who seek solace in a religion and taken advantage of by those hypocrites. Yes. See, did he respond? Still isn't as embarrassing as being an atheist, this person says. And that was reported as spam, apparently? Probable spam. That's weird. Okay. Searched across the church's website, sermons, and public records. No dedicated orphan ministry, adoption support, foster care, kids in crisis program, or even a prayer team, or structured children-specific outreach, nor any widow program appears to exist in Faithful Word Baptist Church. And this is James 1. If anyone thinks he is religious and does not bridle his tongue, but deceives his heart, this person's religion is worthless. Religion that is pure and undefiled before God the Father is this, to visit orphans and widows in their affliction and to keep oneself unstained from the world. Wow. That is a sick fucking burn. And Stephen Anderson responds, and yet we do more for women and children by preaching against fornication, adultery, divorce, drunkenness, laziness, etc., than the church that finances whores and refuses to preach on sin. That is fascinating, dude. This little drama is so interesting. By the by, follow me on Patreon even if you don't donate. It's a new feature on Patreon where you can follow people for free. And I release stuff all the time for like non-donators, just for like the free tier people. I do Q&As that include the free tier people and everything on there. So check it out. owenmorgan.com/Patreon. We do more for women and children by just talking and also by rebuking others with the courage to actually do something is a wild public admission, right? Exactly. Remember Jesus forgave that woman that was about to get stoned for her adultery? The Catholic Church teaches the compassionate way of Christ. Nothing about your post sounds Christian. Oh my God, dude. This person's a Catholic. Forgiveness? Yes. Free money from the church? No. This is a wrong and unbiblical use of church funds. To literally feed starving babies is the wrong way to use church funds? To literally feed starving babies. Seriously, the guy's moral compass is so whacked out, dude. Like, how do you fix something like this? Reducing single mothers to fornicators and their bastards overlooks the dignity as children of God. Compassion, not condemnation, aligns with Christ's teachings. Forgiveness and aid are not mutually exclusive. Jesus forgave the adulterous woman without demanding she prove her worthiness, and the church continues this mission by supporting the needy, including single mothers, as an act of love. A lot of people in these replies do not know it is the father's responsibility to care for his family. It then falls to the person's family. So you're saying churches have no responsibility to care for those in need? Is that what you're saying? You're trying to tell me that the church has no responsibility to help society in any way, shape, or form? Then what the f*** is the church for? What the f*** is the purpose? Why is it here? And what's more, why is it getting tax-exempt status? They supposedly provide a public good, right? Why are they getting tax-exempt status if you are openly telling me they have no responsibility to help society in any way? And Stephen Anderson replies to that, what I also see is a lot of women leaving their husbands, withholding his own kids from him, and then bragging about how they need financial assistance. Go home to your husband. There is so much wrong with that. First of all, this is a caricature of reality. He's like coming up with some TV trope or something that he saw in like a movie. And he's angry at some movie that he recently watched or something. Is this reality? When people do fit this generic stereotype where they left their husbands, it's usually for a pretty fucking good reason. and they're refusing to go back to them, usually it's because the father is an abusive monster. It is so ridiculously wild to me that this guy views the world the way that he does. Calls himself a pastor. I feel the same way about churches financially supporting unqualified men as pastors. The laborer is worthy of his hire. The workman is worthy of his meat. I work and I get paid for the job I do. My church is happy with my performance, and I hope the Lord is as well, says Steven Anderson. You're unqualified, Steve. I mean, he is technically qualified in that he went to seminary, I believe, but he's unqualified in that he doesn't seem to understand the words of Jesus at all. He doesn't seem to understand that Jesus was about loving people and taking care of them, and there was no test anyone had to pass to receive his help. They just had to need something. Seriously, like, holy shit, dude. Steven Anderson is disgusting. It's funny how you feel the Lord would be happy with the way you talk about the people he would actually be helping. You're likely everything that goes against the Lord you say you serve. There's nothing Christ-like about Steven Anderson. I am an IF Baptist, not NIFB. NIFB is New Independent Fundamental Baptist. It's the denomination that Steven Anderson started. And IFB is like extreme Baptist. They're like nutcase Baptists. And the NIFB split off from the IFB. So that should tell you something about how insane the NIFB is. Anyway, this guy says he's IF Baptist, not NIFB, and I despise the way he tears people down. Treats LGBT, though the Bible is clear that it is a sin. The doctrine he spews regarding Israel and end times. His preaching has destroyed churches and people. Fascinating. Well, yeah, like I said, Steven Anderson goes beyond hating gay people and crosses straight into wishing that they would die in preaching about how they will all die one day. I mean, it's like vile, insane hate that he has. Aside from that, the Bible is not clear that being gay is a sin. It's not clear about that. It says that in Leviticus 18 and 20, I think. And another verse used to justify hating gay people is the bit about Sodom and Gomorrah. But Sodom and Gomorrah was not about hating gay people. It was about their ill treatment of the poor, funny enough. It was how they treated the poor badly, according to the book of Ezekiel. And, you know, here we have an example of them treating poor like shit, literally calling and asking for formula, and they won't provide it. Here you go, Ezekiel 16:49 and 50. Now this is the sin of your sister Sodom. She and her daughters were arrogant, overfed, and unconcerned. They did not help the poor and needy. They were haughty and did detestable things before me. Therefore I did away with them, as you have seen. That's why Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed, because they mistreated the poor.
By the way, guys, check out my new shop, owenmorgan.com/shop. I have a bunch of really cool designs on there.
And they're saying we shouldn't help people because they're gay, and also saying we're not going to help the poor and needy. I mean, if these people think they're getting into heaven, they have another thing coming. They are doing the exact polar opposite of what they should be doing, according to the Bible. Just wild to me. I'm sorry, let's keep reading because this is entertaining as hell. Let's see. How do you feel knowing the government does it with your taxes? It makes me upset. I don't like the government stealing from me and giving the money to lazy derelicts. Oh my God. He died for your sins too, you know, Mr. Perfect. I never claimed to be perfect. I want all whores to get saved and be forgiven. However, giving them the tithes is unbiblical and wrong. Nobody said give them the tithes. They said buy formula for the babies that are starving. We don't expect you to open the bank account and give them a credit card linked to it. We expect you to give the starving babies formula. One of the closest allies of Jesus in the Bible is Mary Magdalene, a known prostitute. I understand what you're saying, but Jesus died and rose again so that we all might be forgiven. There are no degrees of sin on a scale of 1 to 10. It's all the same to God. That's true. That is true, according to the Bible. So no scripture says she was a prostitute. You are correct in that assertion. It doesn't specifically say she's a prostitute, only that 7 demons were cast out of her. I stand corrected. Interesting. What is the difference between you and this single mother whore? The difference is that I did not fornicate or father any bastards. The other difference is that I work for a living and I don't ask random churches that I don't attend for money. Are you a sinner? Says this person. Even if that act of kindness led to them becoming saved, The ends do not justify the means. We don't need to pay people to get saved. Oh my God, dude. You're not paying people to get saved. You are committing an act of kindness to help an impoverished person and feed a starving child. And you can't see how that act of kindness might lead somebody to view the church in a positive way. This is fucking nuts. When a woman calls for formula, the church should be asking, where is your husband? This is exactly right, says Stephen Anderson. Dead? Could be dead. That's possible, right? Maybe she's a Christian and the husband just isn't in the picture anymore because he left Christianity behind. Maybe he's an atheist. Who fucking knows? There are a million reasons why the husband may not be in the picture. That's none of the church's business. She's telling you she needs help. The husband is not here. I'm sure she would have gone to him first if she could, obviously. Instead, you're pointing fingers and you want to litigate her entire fucking life and tear it apart instead of feeding a baby who's starving, like right now. We aren't here to litigate her relationship. We're here to feed starving children. Seriously, the church is so incredibly deeply low at this point that they refuse to feed starving children. They won't even feed starving children. Why the fuck are they tax exempt? Somebody please tell me. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Disgusting, dude. Please show me the Bible verse where Jesus gave money to whores. It's so stupid. Unplanned pregnancy of single women? You mean whoredoms? You mean fornication? Ends don't justify the means. Our church gets thousands of people saved every year without funding fornication and debauchery. What's this person say? This says, I agree. According to New Testament First Church standards, donations were primarily for fellow Christians to sustain the body of believers as a unified missional community. It was only in some very special cases when it was okay to offer support to non-Christian sinners. Who said she's non-Christian? Nobody said she's non-Christian. She probably is a Christian. They said she's not a member of the church, not she's not a Christian. They're different, obviously. Dude, seriously, these people are fucking disgusting. There is no low that these people will not reach.